Machine control group. So next instruction set is machine control group. Under this group we have four categories. First category is stack operations. Second is the interrupt control operations. Third one is the input output operations, and last one is the general purpose operations. So firstly we will discuss about the stack operations. So students, stack operations are related to stack memory. So that means if we want to add the memory address into the stack, and if we want to pop out the memory address from the stack, so we have different types of instructions for that purpose. So first instruction under the stack pointer is push RP. So that means to push the contents of the memory location that is stored in the register pair into the stack pointer. So push means to add the contents into the memory location, and RP is the register pair. So in microprocessor 8085 we have register pair that is BC, we have register pair that is DE, and we have register pair that HL, and sometimes we can use accumulator as well as the flag registers combinedly in order to make it a pair of 16 bits. So accumulator is of 8 bit and flag register is also 8 bit. So combinedly it will form the 16 bit memory location. So we have basically these three register pairs in microprocessor 8085. So only in the register pair we can write the initials. If we are writing B, that means we are talking about BC pair. If we are writing D, that means we are talking about DE pair, and if we are writing H, that means we are talking about HL pair. Now students, we can see this is the stack memory. For example, this is the stack memory which is present in the RAM. Some of the area of the RAM we can consider as a stack area, where top of the stack is known as a stack pointer. So either we can call it a top of the stack or we can call it a stack pointer. So suppose the current memory location of stack pointer is C015H. So above memory location is always C014H, and above that next memory location we have is C013H, then C012H, C011H, like this. Now students, the top of the stack is currently C015H. Now we have an instruction, for example, push B. So push B means we can push the contents that are present in the memory location that is pointed by this BC pair. We have to push that memory address into the stack. So students, push RP is the instruction which is 1 byte instruction, because no data and no address is specified in the instruction. Next one is the format. So format is when we can push the content, then always the higher order byte will be moved to the memory location that is next to the stack pointer. So this is SP-1, because the current address of stack pointer is C015. That means when we can push the higher order byte, then that will be pushed in memory location C014. So that means it is SP-1, and after higher order byte then we can push the lower order byte. So lower order byte will be pushed in the memory location C013H in this example. So that means if the current location of SP is C015, so this location we can call as a SP-2. So always when we can perform the push operations, then higher order byte will goes into SP-1 and lower order byte will goes into SP-2, and after pushing the address, now the current location of the stack pointer is C013H. So that means now stack pointer is equivalent to SP-2. So we can see the format. So in format, the higher order byte of the register pair will goes to SP minus 1 and the lower order byte of the register pair will goes to SP minus 2, and after pushing the values, the stack pointer current location is SP minus 2. So this is the format of the instruction. Now next one is the addressing mode. So students, the addressing mode of this instruction is register indirect, because directly the address is not given in the instruction. The address is in the register pair. So initially microprocessor will fetch the address from the register pair, and after fetching the address, it will retrieve the data from the particular address and it will add that address into the stack pointer. So that's why the addressing mode of this instruction is register indirect. And after that, flags. So no flag will be affected by this instruction, because this instruction is just to add the contents into the stack memory. So no flag will be affected by this instruction. Now students, we can see the example. So for example, we have an example, push B. So push B means we can push the contents of the register pair BC into the stack area. So push B means, suppose in B we have contents 25H and in C we have contents 24H. So that means this is the higher order byte and this is the lower order byte. So in the register pair, if we are writing BC, DE and HL, so these three are the higher order bytes and these three are the lower order bytes. So higher order byte, that means the contents of B we can push into C014H. So 25H will be pushed here, and after that the lower order byte, that is in the C register, will be pushed into the memory location SP minus 2. So 24 will be pushed into the memory location C013H. So we can write here, now the value of SP minus 1, that is C014H, is equal to 25H, while the contents of C013H are equal to 24H, and the current location of the stack pointer is C013H after the execution of this instruction. So push is just to push the contents of the register pair into the stack area. So this is the push register pair. Now after this, next instruction we have is pop RP. So pop RP means now we have to pop out or remove the contents that are present in the stack memory. So students, this is pop RP. That means after popping the contents from the stack area, we can add those contents into the register pair. So here the byte that will be occupied by this instruction is again 1 byte, because no address and data will be specified. Next one is the format. So students, the format of this instruction is when we can pop the contents, that means always we can pop from the top, because stack works on last in first out. The contents that you have added in the stack at last, that will be popped out first. So at last you have added the contents 24H. That means if we are going to remove the contents from the stack area, then initially we have to remove 24, and after removing 24 we have to remove 25. So that means according to the format, we can pop SP minus 2 first, and after popping this we can pop SP minus 1, and after popping these two values, now again the current position of the stack pointer is C015H. So what will be the format? The format is the SP minus 2, that value goes into the lower order byte of the register pair, because this is the lower order byte, and after that the value of now this is 13, this is the stack pointer. Now the current stack pointer is this. So the value of stack pointer will goes into the lower order byte of register, and the value or the address greater than the stack pointer, that is C014, this value goes into the higher order byte of the register pair. And after popping these values, now the current location of stack pointer is C015H. So that means at last now the stack pointer is having value SP plus 2. So this is the format. Next one is the addressing mode. So again the addressing mode for this instruction is register indirect, because indirectly the address is in the register pair. Now we can see it with the help of example. For example, we have instruction that is POPD. So this instruction means by popping the address or values from the stack area, we can add those values into the DE pair. So for example, in our stack area, we have values 24H, that is lower order byte, at memory location C013H, and at memory location C014H we have value 25H. So after popping the value, that is 24H, goes into the lower order byte. So in case of DE pair, the lower order byte register name is E, and 25H will goes into the higher order byte register. So D value after the execution of this instruction is 25H, and after adding the values into the DE pair, now the stack pointer current location is C015H. So students, after every pop operation, the memory location is always incremented by 2, and when we can perform the push operations, then every time the memory location will be decremented by 2. So in this case, before execution the stack pointer had value C013H, but after the execution of pop instruction the stack pointer is having value C015H. So this is about the pop operation. Now students, after this, now next instruction we have is push PSW. So push PSW means program status word. Next instruction is push PSW. So it stands for processor status word. That means now we can push the contents of accumulator as well as the flag registers, or we can say that a status register, into the stack area. So accumulator is of 8-bit and flag register is of 8-bit. So by combining the values of accumulator and flag registers, we can push these values into the stack pointer, because stack pointer is of 16-bit. So that means simultaneously we have to send the 16-bit data into the stack pointer. So 8-bit data is of accumulator and 8-bit data is of flag register. Now you can see students, first one is the format of this instruction. So initially we can push the accumulator value, and after that we can push the flag register value. So that means out of accumulator and flag register, this is considered as a higher order byte and this is considered as a lower order byte. So before seeing the format, initially we can draw the flag register. So students, in case of flag register, initial bit is the sign bit, after that we have the 0, then undefined, after undefined we have auxiliary carry, then we have the parity flag, and after that we have a carry flag. So this is the syntax of the flag register. Now you can see the format. So students, this is the stack pointer. Now suppose the current location of stack pointer is again C015H. So stack pointer is currently at location C015H. So we can add the contents of the accumulator, means we can add the higher order byte where at location C015H. So this location will contain the contents of the accumulator. So this location is also known as SP-1. Now after this, the contents of the flag registers we can add into memory location C013H, because this is the lower order byte and lower order byte will be stored in memory location SP-2. So flag registers we can save here and the contents of accumulator we can save here, because in stack memory, every location can only occupy 8 bit of data at a time. So 8 bit for accumulator and 8 bit for flag registers. Now you can see the format. Initially, the value of the accumulator we can push into the SP minus 1. So SP minus 1 is this, and we can push the higher order byte into SP minus 1. Then the value of the flag registers we can push in SP minus 2. So students, now you can see initially we have sign flag. So we can push the sign flag, then 0, auxiliary, parity and carry. Now you can see firstly we can push the value. So first value is the sign flag, then 0, auxiliary and parity and carry. So all these combine to form five defined flags, and while 3 are undefined flags. So initially we can push the carry flag. So carry flag we can push where? We can push it into SP minus 2. But SP minus 2 is of 8 bit because it can contain 8 bit of data. So all the 8 bits we have to push here. So SP minus 2, 0th location of SP minus 2 we can send the value of CY, and after this we can send the undefined flag in location SP minus 2, 1. Next position we have SP minus 2 of 2, that means where we can send the value of parity. After this we can send again the undefined at location SP minus 2, 3. So the fourth bit of stack pointer minus 2 is the undefined value. After this at SP minus 2, 4 we can send the value of auxiliary carry, then again the undefined at SP minus 2, 5, then SP minus 2, 6 we have the value that is 0 flag, and finally we have the 8th bit that is of sign flag that we can push on SP minus 2, 7. So overall there are 8 bits. So 8 bits we can push into this memory location in this format. Initially we can send the value of carry flag, then parity, auxiliary, 0 and sign flag. So this is the format of the push PSW. Now students, after format, next we have is flags. So by this instruction no flag will be affected, only we can copy the contents of the flag register into the stack area. Next is the addressing mode. So addressing mode of this instruction is register indirect again. So addressing mode is register indirect. Now the group of this instruction is machine control group, and you can write in bracket stack operations. So this is the format of the instruction. Now we can see the example. For example, we have instruction push PSW and the contents of the accumulator are 25H while the contents of the flag register are 44H. So students, we have to push 25H into the higher order byte of stack pointer, and 44H we have to push in the lower order byte. So that means after the execution of this instruction, the value of SP minus 1 is 25H while the value of SP minus 2 is 44H. So that means at SP minus 1 we have, or SP minus 1 is also C014H. We have value, what value we have? 25H, and at C013H we have value 44H, and after the execution now the stack pointer is having value C013H. So this is how we can write this instruction, and this is how this instruction will work. So students, after this next instruction we have is POP PSW. So this means now we have to pop the contents of accumulator as well as the flag register from the stack area. For this now we can see the example here the format of the instruction. So when we can pop the instruction, initially we can pop the flag registers content, then we can pop the contents of the accumulator. So students, this now the current location of stack pointer is C013 after push operation. So that means now the contents of the stack pointer, okay students, so stack pointer 0. So stack pointer 0 means now the contents of the carry flag, the contents of SP0 will goes to CY, because now we have SP here and SP can contain 8 bit of data. So out of 8 bit, 0th bit will goes to the carry, and after carry 1th bit will goes to the undefined symbol. After that SP2, that will goes to the parity flag, then SP3, this will go to again undefined, SP4, so the 5th bit of the stack pointer goes to the auxiliary carry, then again to the undefined flag. After that 7th bit will goes to the 0th flag, and last bit will goes to the sign flag. So students, here we are writing because the current location of stack pointer is C013H, and this location can contain 8 bit of data. So out of 8 bit, first bit, that is 0th bit, will goes to the CY. Suppose here we have a value that is 01000100, that is 44H. So out of that, this bit, that is SP0, this bit goes to the, this bit, this is SP0, this is SP1, SP2, SP3, SP4, SP5, SP6 and SP7. So this bit 0 goes to the carry flag. After that, this 0 goes to the undefined symbol, then this one will goes to the parity. Likewise, last 0 will goes to the sign flag. Now after this, now the value of the flag register will goes into the stack pointer. Now after that, we have to increment the value of the stack pointer. So now the value of SP plus 1. So SP plus 1 is C014. So the contents of C014 will goes to the accumulator, because this is the higher order bit, and in higher order bit we have the contents of the accumulator. And after popping the values into the flag register and accumulator, finally the stack pointer is now SP plus 2, because before pop operation the stack pointer is having address C013H, and after popping operation now the contents of the stack pointer are C015H. Now students, after this we have the flag. So again, by this instruction no flag will be affected, only we can copy the value of the flag register into the memory location. Addressing mode, the addressing mode for this instruction is register indirect, and the group is machine control group, that is the stack operations. Now we can see the example. So we have an instruction that is POP PSW, and suppose students, in a stack memory we have contents that are 44H in the lower order byte and 25H in the higher order byte. So after executing this instruction, now the stack pointer is having stack pointer current location is C0, value or the address of the stack pointer is C013H, and the flag register value is now 44H, and after this the value of the accumulator is 25H, because the higher order byte is having value 25H, and finally the stack pointer will change its address from C013 to C015H. So now the current location of stack pointer is again C015H. So this is how we can perform the push and pop operations with accumulator and the flag registers. Next instruction we have under the stack operations is XTHL. So XTHL means to exchange the contents of the stack pointer as well as the HL pair. So the instruction is XTHL means exchange the contents of HL and SP. So that instruction is XTHL, means the contents of the stack pointer will be copied into the HL pair, while the contents of HL will be copied into the stack pointer. So this is the stack pointer. So the current location of stack pointer is this, and the memory location is, suppose, C015H, next is C014H, next is C013H, and so on in the decrementing order. So students, now the lower order byte will always be stored at this location, and the higher order byte will be stored at this memory location. So for example, this location is having contents 45H and this location is having contents already 25H. So if the contents are already present in the stack area, that means now the current location of stack pointer is always at the top of the stack. So top of the stack is C013H in this scenario. Now according to this instruction, the contents of stack pointer will be exchanged with the contents of L, because lower order byte is here, and the contents of stack pointer plus 1, this is SP, that means this is SP plus 1 and this is SP plus 2. So the contents of SP plus 1 will be exchanged with the contents of H, or we can say with the higher order byte. So using this instruction only we can exchange the contents with the HL pair, not with other pair, because in the instruction HL is specified itself. So this is the format of this instruction. Next one is the flags. So no flags will be affected by this instruction because we are just exchanging the contents. Next one is the addressing mode. So addressing mode is register indirect addressing mode. So the addressing mode is register indirect addressing mode. Group is the machine control group, that is the stack operations. Now students, after this we can see the example. For example, in H we have contents 25H and in L we have contents 45H. And in stack pointer, at the lower order byte we have 45H and in the higher order byte we have 25, same contents there are. So we can take some other examples. Suppose here we have 20 and here we have 40H. So in H we have 20H and in L we have 40H. So now we have to exchange the contents of HL with SP and SP plus 1. So after the execution of this instruction, now the contents in H are the content that is 25H, that was in SP plus 1. So that means here the contents of H will be interchanged with the contents of SP plus 1, and after that with L the contents will be exchanged with SP. So in SP we have 45H. So now after execution L is having value 45H, and in case of stack pointer you can check the value. Now this 45H will be replaced with the value that was in L previously. So in L we have value 40H and in H we have value previously, that is 20H. So here after the execution, now the current value of stack pointer is 40H and the value of SP plus 1 is 20H. So this is the output after the execution of this instruction, means the contents of HL and the contents of the SP are interchanged with each other. After this students, now we have a last instruction that is under this group, that is SPHL. SPHL means we can copy the contents of HL into the stack pointer. So the instruction is to move the HL, move HL value into SP. So the format of this instruction is, that means the value of L and the value of H will be exchanged with the SP. So the value of L will goes to the lower order byte of stack pointer and the value of H will goes to the higher order byte of the stack pointer. So this is the format. Next one is the flag. No flag will be affected because only we can move the values, and in case of move operations no flag will be affected. Addressing mode is again register. So in this case the addressing mode is register addressing mode, because in the instruction register name is specified and this register can only move the values from one register to the another register. Here we are not copying the values into the memory location of the stack pointer. Here we can change the address of the stack pointer. So whatever will be the address of the HL, that we can add into the stack pointer. So here we are not adding the contents into the stack area, we are just copying the address from HL pair into the stack pointer. So no flag will be affected and the addressing mode is register addressing mode, and the group is machine control group, that is stack operations. Now we can see the example. For example, we have the value of higher order byte, that is H. We have value 40H and in L we have value 49H. So after the execution of this instruction, see, stack pointer means stack pointer is of 16 bits. So initially we can write 8-bit higher order byte and after that we can write the lower order byte. So we can combine it to form the stack pointer. So that means here the higher order byte is 40 and lower order byte is 49H. So this is now after the execution the memory address of the stack pointer. So stack pointer is equal to now 49H after the execution of this instruction. We can see some other example. For example, in H we have value C0 and in L we have value 00H. So after the execution of the instruction SPHL, now the current location of SP is, initially we can write the higher order byte, then we can write the lower order byte. So current location of the stack pointer is C000H. So that means top of the stack is C000H. So this is all about the stack operations and the stack instructions. Either we can push the data, we can pop the data from the stack, or we can exchange the values between the HL pair and the stack pointer. And if we want to copy the value of the higher order bit into the stack pointer, that we can do with the help of stack operations, that comes under the machine control group. Next category under machine control group is general purpose instructions. So under general purpose instructions we have basically two instructions that we can use in our program. So general purpose instructions. First instruction under this category is halt instruction. So halt means to halt and enter the wait state. So means halt and enter the wait state. So students, this instruction basically we can use at the end of the program. By this instruction, no register values will be affected. Means if we are writing halt in our program, that will not change the values of the register. Halt will just stop the processor for doing the execution. So it can stop the processor for execution. Means it can stop the processor so that processor will not further execute any of the instruction. Basically halt we can write at the end of the program. And the other use of the halt is when the interrupt request comes to the microprocessor, then also halt will use, so that it can tell the microprocessor to hold for some time when the interrupt comes into the microprocessor. So the flag, no flag will be affected by this instruction, because it is just used to stop the microprocessor, or it will just tell the microprocessor to wait for some time when the interrupt occurs in the program. So no flag will be affected. Next one is the byte. So it will occupy 1 byte of memory, because nothing is specified other than in this instruction. So this is the halt instruction. After halt, next instruction we have is NOP. So NOP stands for no operation. So students, this instruction will do nothing it will do. So that means by this instruction simply we can delay the program. Suppose if we want to delay our program by few milliseconds, then we can use the NOP. So this is not executed by the microprocessor. Only we can fetch this instruction and decode this instruction. So by this instruction we can delay the program execution, and nothing we can do other than delaying the loops or delaying the program. Next is the flag. So no flag will be affected, because it is only used to delay the execution of the program. Next one is the byte. So it will occupy 1 byte of memory, because no data and memory address will be specified in the instruction. And the group is the group that, so this instruction comes under which group? This instruction comes under machine control group. In brackets you can write general purpose instruction. So machine control group. So students, by writing this instruction, it will not affect any flag value or flag registers, and also it will not affect any register. So the register values and the flag values remains unchanged when you can write this program in the, when you can write this instruction in your program, that is NOP. So basically NOP is used to just provide the delays, and halt is used to stop the microprocessor from executing the program or from executing other instructions. Halt basically we can use when we have the interrupts, and both will not affect any flag value, and the bytes for both the instructions are 1 byte. Next type of instructions that comes under the machine control group are interrupt control instructions. So these instructions are used to deal with the interrupts present in a microprocessor 8085. So students, under this first type of instruction we have is EI. So EI stands for enable the interrupt. So with the name only we can come to know that this instruction is used to enable the interrupt. So in microprocessor 8085 we have hardware as well as the software interrupts. So software interrupts are in the program itself. So that means we cannot enable or disable those interrupts, because by default all the software interrupts are non-maskable, means enabled. We cannot ignore the software interrupts, but we can enable or disable the interrupts, means we can enable or disable the hardware interrupts. So in microprocessor 8085 we have hardware interrupts, that is trap, RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5 and INTR. So students, out of these also, again this is a non-maskable interrupt. That means we cannot disable this interrupt. So that means we are not talking about this also. So only we can enable these interrupt, because these are the because these interrupts we can enable or disable according to our requirements, but trap is the interrupt which we cannot ignore or which we cannot mask or which we cannot disable. So now students, EI means enable the interrupt. So when this instruction is being executed by a programmer, then the microprocessor will enable all the interrupts, all the hardware interrupts. So in that case, it will enable RST 7.5, RST 6.5, RST 5.5 and INTR, because other hardware as well as the software interrupts are automatically non-maskable interrupts or the enabled interrupts. So there is no need to enable or disable those interrupts. Only we can enable or disable these 4 interrupts. So this instruction will work for only 4 interrupts. So by executing this instruction, all the hardware interrupts will be enabled by the microprocessor. Next one is the flag. So no flag will be affected when microprocessor can execute this instruction. Next one is the byte. So this instruction will occupy 1 byte of memory. After this group, so this instruction comes under the machine control group, and in brackets you can write interrupt control instruction. After EI, next instruction we have is DI. So DI stands for disable interrupt. So this instruction means we can disable all the interrupts. So this instruction, when microprocessor will execute, it will disable all the interrupts. So which interrupts microprocessor can disable? It can disable RST 7.5, 6.5 and 5.5, and last one is INTR. Otherwise by default other are non-maskable, that means we cannot disable those interrupts. So this will only work for RST 7.5, 6.5, 5.5 and INTR. So these 4 interrupts are only there that the programmer can enable and disable according to their choices, but other interrupts, that means other hardware as well as the software interrupts, are by default enabled. So we cannot make any changes into those interrupts. If we want to make the changes, then we can make the changes in these 4 interrupts only. So we can enable and disable these interrupts only. Next one is the flag. So no flag will be affected when we can execute this instruction. Next is the byte. So this instruction will occupy 1 byte of memory. Next one is the group. So machine control group, this instruction comes under the machine control group. So these are the enabled and disabled interrupt which is used to enable and disable the interrupt. Now next instruction that falls under this group is RIM instruction. RIM instruction stands for read interrupt mask, RIM. So this instruction means read interrupt mask. Student, this instruction is multi-purpose instruction, means this instruction can deal with the serial input of data as well as this instruction is used for to read the interrupt mask also. So this instruction will perform multiple works. First work it will do, that is serial input data, and second purpose of this instruction is to read the interrupt, whether the interrupt is masked or not. So if the interrupt is masked, then it will be read by the RIM instruction, and if the interrupt is non-maskable, then again it will be read by the RIM instruction. So students, when we can execute the RIM instruction, then the instruction will be implemented with the help of the accumulator content. So accumulator is having 8 bit of data. So initially we can draw the accumulator. So this is the accumulator. This is D0, this is D1, then D2, D3, D4, D5, D6 and D7. So it is having 8 bits that starts from D0 to D7, and you can assign some other numbers also. So the very first bit of this accumulator will tell about the serial input data. So after serial input data, we have next 3 bits, that is I7, I6 and I5. So these 3 bits will tell whether the interrupt is pending or not. So these bits will tell the interrupt pending status. So if the interrupt is pending, if pending, then it will set the bit to 1. If non-pending, then it will set the bit to 0. This is for the serial input data. So serial input data, SID serial input data means the microprocessor 8085 will receive the data from the peripheral devices in the serial order. Means if the peripheral device wants to send the 8-bit data to the microprocessor, then a peripheral device can send 1 bit at a time, and after sending the 1 bit into this D7 bit, and after sending this, again second bit will be sent by the peripheral devices at this location only. So one by one, on the D7th bit of the accumulator, the peripheral device will send the data to the microprocessor. For example, if we want to send 08H from the peripheral devices to 08H. So the binary form of 08H is 00001000. So according to these binary bits, the peripheral device can send 1 bit at a time. So initially peripheral device can send 0 through D7, and that from D7 it will be read by the microprocessor, and after sending this, again peripheral device will send the next bit. So in this example the next bit is 0. So again my peripheral device can put that bit on the D7th location, and from this location microprocessor can read the data. So in the serial order, one by one all the bits can be read by the microprocessor. So that is in case of microprocessor 8085, because microprocessor can perform the serial transmission of data. Now students, this is the interrupt pending. So if the interrupt is pending, then we can set the bit equal to 1, otherwise we can set the bit is equal to 0. After this, next we have is IE. So IE stands for interrupt enable. So if this bit is equal to high, that means the interrupts are enabled. So all the interrupts are enabled, and if this bit is equal to 0, that means the interrupts are disabled. Next we have is 7.5, 6.5 and 5.5. So these are the three interrupts. So if these interrupts are masked, or if these interrupts are masked, then we can set the value is equal to 1, and if these interrupts are non-masked, then we can set the value equal to 0. So if these interrupts are masked, then we can set equal to 1. If non-masked, then we can set equal to 0. Now we can see it with the help of example. Suppose in accumulator we have contents 42H. So now interpret the meaning of these contents according to the RIM instruction. So initially we can convert 42H into binary. So binary of 42H is here we can write. So what 42 means 0, 1, 0, 0 and next is 2. So 0, 0, 1, 0. So according to this instruction, the meaning is at the serially peripheral device can send 0 bit to the microprocessor, and 7.5 RST 7.5 is pending. So that means interrupt has to serve this interrupt 7.5, and all these interrupts are performed by the microprocessor. Here the interrupts are not enabled, that means IE is equal to 0. Next 7.5 and 5.5 are non-masked non-maskable, while 6.5 is a maskable interrupt. That's why the bit is equal to 1. So that means if these are masked, then we can set equal to 1, and if this is non-masked, then we can set equal to 0. So this is the RIM instruction, which is used for the serial communication from the peripheral devices to the microprocessor, as well as to read the status of the interrupt. After this, next instruction we have is SIM instruction. So students, again the SIM instruction is a multi-purpose instruction that stands for set interrupt mask. SIM stands for set interrupt mask, and this is the multi-purpose instruction. This instruction works with SOD, that is serial output data. Means using this instruction, microprocessor can send the data to the peripheral devices in the serial order. So if microprocessor wants to send 08, that means microprocessor initially send one bit through this D7, and after this it will send the next bit. So that means to send the 8-bit data, microprocessor has to place 8 bits one at a time at this location D7, and after placing the bits in this location, from this location now the peripheral device can read the data. So students, for SIM again we have to check the value of the accumulator. So in accumulator we have the status about the interrupts as well as about the serial output data. So initially first bit will represent the serial output data. So serial output data means the data which is sent by the microprocessor to the peripheral device, output data. Next one is SDE. So SDE means serial data enabled. So students, if this bit is enabled, only then the microprocessor will send the data to the peripheral devices. If this bit is equal to 0, that means microprocessor will not be able to send the data to the peripheral devices. So if you want to enable this bit, then initially you have to enable this bit. If you can not enable this bit, that means this bit will not work, because if this is disabled, that means you are not able to send the data. So this is serial data enable. After this we have XXX. So XXX means this is an undefined bit. There is no meaning of this bit. After this students, next bit we have is R7.5. So if you want to reset RST 7.5, then you can put this put 1 here. If you can make this bit as a 1, that means you can reset the interrupt RST 7.5, and if you don't want to reset 7.5 interrupt, that means you can put the value of this interrupt is equal to 0. After this, next we have is MSE. So MSE stands for mask set enable. So if this value is equal to high, that means all the interrupts that are present at location D2, D1 and D2 will be maskable, and if this is equal to 0, that means it will be non-maskable. So this bit will do work for all the three bits. After this, next we have 7.5, 6.5 and 5.5 interrupts. So first one is M7.5, next is M6.5 and next is 5.5. So these bits represent, if it is equal to 1, that means it is maskable interrupt, and if it is 0, that means it is non-maskable interrupt. Again, if next bit is 1, that means this interrupt is maskable, and if it is 0, that means this interrupt is non-maskable, and same for next, because only we can make the changes in the maskable to the maskable and the non-maskable with these interrupts only. Other interrupts are by default Non-maskable means we cannot ignore or we cannot disable other interrupts other than this. So these are the hardware interrupts which we can make enable or which we can make disable according to the microprocessor requirement. So students, this is about the SIM instructions. So in short, RIM and SIM are the multi-purpose instructions which is used to read or give the data to the peripheral devices in the serial manner, as well as to read and set the status of the interrupt. So these instructions will work with the contents of the accumulator, and these instructions are very important. After this, now we can study about the input output instructions. Next type of instructions that comes under the machine control group are input output instructions. So these instructions can perform the functionality of input and output. So in this type we have two instructions, one is in and second one is out. So for these instructions we require a accumulator. Now students, firstly we will discuss about the in instruction. So in case of the in instruction, the format is in, and here we can write the port address. So students, here the port address is the address which we can assign to the input devices and input and output devices that are connected with the microprocessor. So with the microprocessor, number of input and output, or we can say a peripheral devices are connected. So to each and every peripheral devices, a microprocessor can assign a address. So that address which is assigned by a microprocessor to the input output devices are 8-bit address. So 8-bit address is being assigned to the input output devices, and the range of the address that is assigned to the input output devices is from 00H to FFH. So that means out of these numbers we can assign the numbers to the input and output devices that are connected to the microprocessor. See students, in the pin diagram of microprocessor, you all have studied about this pin IOM. So that means if this is equal to high, that means we are talking about input output devices. Means if the address on the, when the address is present on the address bus and IO / M bar is equal to 1, that means microprocessor will come to know that the address that is present on the address bus will represent the input output devices. But when the value of this is equal to 0, that means the address that is available on the address bus, that will be represented the memory location. So this is how we can distinguish the input output as well as the memory addresses. So in case of IOM, M is having the 16-bit address, while for IO we can assign the 8-bit address, and the range of IO starts from 00 to FF, and the range of M starts from 0000 to FFFH, because it is a 16-bit address. Because we have multiple and so many memory locations in a computer, but maximum to maximum how many devices we can connect with the microprocessor? So maximum up to 256 devices only we can connect it with the microprocessor. So how we can find this 256? If we can write 2 raised to power 8, because it is a 8-bit address, so 2 raised to power 8 means 256. So means 256 devices at a time we can connect with the microprocessor, and there is no need to connect more than 256 devices. These are more than enough. So in microprocessor, these number of ports we have available, so that means at a time these much number of input output devices we can connect with the computer. So these are more than enough numbers that we can use to connect the input output devices, but the range of memory addresses is quite higher than as compared to the input output devices. That's why for memory we have the 16-bit address, and for IO we have a 8-bit address. Now students, come to the point. The format of this instruction is in and port address. So here the port address is from 00 to FFH, and the meaning of this instruction is when this instruction is executed, then the contents from the particular port, or then the contents from the particular input output devices whose address is given in the instruction, the data of that device will comes into the accumulator. So the format of this instruction is the data from the particular input output device will come into the accumulator when we can execute this instruction. So in and here we have a port address, and this is the format of the instruction. Next one is the flag. So no flag will be affected by this instruction. Next is the byte. Now see students, one byte is occupied by the opcode that is in, and one byte is occupied by the port address. So why port address will occupy only 1 byte of memory? Because this port address is 8-bit address. So 8-bit means it will occupy 1 byte of memory. So overall this instruction will use 2 bytes of the memory. And the addressing mode of this instruction is direct addressing mode, because the address is specified in the instruction. Now students, we can see when we can execute, for example, we have instruction that is in 35H. So 35 is in the range of 00 to FFH. So when we can execute this instruction, then the device that is connected to the port number 35, it will send the data to the accumulator. For example, 35H is the address of keyboard. Okay, student, means keyboard is a device that is connected with the 35th port number, and keyboard is having value 14H. So that means when we can execute this instruction, so this 14H will be transferred to the accumulator. So after the execution of this instruction, now the value of accumulator is 14H. So these instructions in and out we can use when we have to deal with the peripheral devices that are connected with the microprocessor. So in short, in instruction is used to get the value from the device, from the peripheral device that is connected with the microprocessor. So this port address will specify the address of the peripheral device, and from that particular port the device will send the data to the accumulator. So this is the format, and this is the example of in instruction. Now after this, next instruction we have is out instruction. So students, in case of out, the syntax is out and port address. So here we can write the port address, and similarly the port address is of 8-bit, and the data will and here the contents of the accumulator will move to the device that is available at the port number which is specified in the instruction. No flag will be affected. Similarly, the byte, it will occupy 2 byte of memory. Addressing mode is direct addressing mode because the address is given here. Next is, now we can see the example. Now students, how this instruction will work? When this instruction is being executed by the microprocessor, then microprocessor will send the 8-bit address over the address bus on which line? On the lower order byte. That is, microprocessor will send the port address on this byte, and similarly the address that is on this byte will be copied into the higher order byte, because address can use 16-bit of data, but in port address we have only 8-bit data. So that means 8-bit data will be moved by the microprocessor into the lower order byte of the address bus, while this value will be copied into the higher order byte also. Okay students, so once the microprocessor fetches the address, and then from that address microprocessor will fetch the data. So you can see here the contents of the accumulator will be moved to the input output device whose address is specified in the instruction. Now for example, in accumulator we have contents 14H and we have an instruction that is out 45H. So that means the peripheral device that is connected to the port number 45 will get the data that was present in the accumulator earlier. So for example, here we have a RAM, we have a hard disk connected with the port number 45. So that means after the execution of this instruction, now the hard disk is having contents that was in the accumulator previously. So now the contents of the hard disk are 14H.